I got a photo evidence of my wife's cheating. She is pregnant and baby might not be mine. Not quite sure why I'm doing this. I've been drinking quite heavily for most of today, so if I stop making sense, you all understand why. I'm 40M and my wife is 38. She was always adamant that we wouldn't have children. I wanted them but loved her more than the idea of becoming a father. We met when I was 20 and she was 18, and were married by the time I was 22. She came from a very privileged background and her parents did not approve of me. They are of the opinion that she married below her social station. A few months ago, she visited her parents and her father bought her a new car. Her parents have serious money, and I trusted her, so it wasn't something that I questioned. Plus, she's always received gifts from her father over the years. Why would this one be any different? A couple of weeks ago, she told me that she was pregnant, and I was ecstatic, happier than I've ever been. But it didn't last long. I got a call from a friend, and he told me that he'd seen her with her brother-in-law, sister's husband, while she was visiting her parents. She hadn't told me that she'd seen him. They've always had a weird dynamic that's made me uncomfortable, but I consoled myself with the view that she had chosen me. She could have been with him, but she had chosen me. My friend sent me some pictures and it changed things. The images showed a couple that were very close. The image showed them gazing and holding each other. The intimate gestures of ones familiar with each other. Her gazing at home with a look that I had hoped was reserved for myself. His hands in her hair as he kissed her. Turns out it's more than likely he bought her the car. I confronted her about it, asked her what happened, but she lied. Told me she hadn't seen him. Told me that I should know the score between them, that she has to be civil. Very ducking civil. I showed her the pictures and told her to leave. That was a week ago. Then I did the maths in my head and realized the dates line up. There is a very real chance he might be the baby's father. Today I asked her for a DNA test, but she exploded at that. The thought of subjecting her baby to a test. But without one ill, never accept this child as mine. This whole ordeal has made me reconsider my marriage. Not only that, but how honest she's been throughout it. How many of the gifts that she's received over the years have actually been from her father? Has she just spread her legs for any man that's bought her something nice? Have I quite literally married a 403? I've sent her sister the pictures, not for any noble reason of thinking that she should know. I want to hurt my wife and brother-in-law, and that's the best way I know at the moment. On Monday, I think I'm going to talk to a lawyer and set the divorce proceedings in motion. Thank you for reading, and I'm sorry if this is a mess. My mental state isn't great and I've had a lot to drink. Edit. Thanks for the support. Those that don't believe me, that's you prerogative. This is the internet and I understand your skepticism. I need her permission for a DNA test and she's made it clear that she won't give it. The next step is I get a divorce and lose half my stuff. Infidelity doesn't matter as much to the UK courts. Dyslexia and a high blood alcohol level are responsible for any spelling and grammatical mistakes. I called my girlfriend to find her moaning with her affair partner. She said she's just sick. So I ended it. I, 24M, have been left by my ex, 24F, of 5 years. From what I thought, we had a very loving and committed relationship from 2016 to 2021. We were friends for a while before we started dating, so we always had a lot in common and got along very well. The first 4 years of our relationship were amazing. I've never fallen head over heels in love with someone like that before, and I thought she was smart, funny, and astonishingly attractive in her very own way. The sex was magic. It was all game in the bedroom and never a disappointment for the both of us. But the way we showed each other our love was even better. I'm not sure if this was a mistake, but I decided to give her a promise ring a couple months after we started dating. The ring was not a promise to be engaged, but a promise to be faithful and true to one another while we were together. She gave me one, and I was determined to show her that I was truly in love with her. My ex had been cheated on in a previous relationship. I felt as if I wanted to show her what real love was. We spent a lot of time together, even though we lived in different cities. Her parents liked me, and mine did as well. She had been with lots of other guys before me, though she always told me that I am the best I've ever had, and I've never been with a guy that loves me like you do. So I was super thrilled by that, and even more determined to prove my faith towards her. We had realized we had some issues with trust throughout the years, but everything else seemed awesome. About 3 years ago, everything was still going great with her and I. One day I got a phone call from her. I answered like always. I said hello and didn't get a response, but I could hear stuff in the background. I could hear her there, and it sounded like she was with another guy. I could make out some heavy breathing, and then the words muffled a guy saying, "Are you okay?" I started yelling her name, suspecting that she was in fact with another man. The call suddenly ended. She called me back 15 minutes later, telling me that she got sick at work and her boss was wondering if she was okay while she was sick in the washroom. It felt really sad, but I ended up believing her after all. After that, things were back to normal, but I always had the audio of the call stuck in my head. Fast forward to 2019, my parents decided to move from the house they had lived in for over 16 years and decided they needed a change of location. I had to move out into my own place if I wanted to stay close to where my ex was. I asked her to move out with me, and she said that she was not ready to move out yet. Come 2020, after a year living by myself and working full-time, I had decided that I wanted to go back to school and go for a bachelor's degree. I had the opportunity to move out to my parents' place so I could go back to school rent-free, which is about 2.5 hours away from where my ex and I lived. Earlier that year, I told her that I wanted to go back to school to better myself and find something that I really enjoyed learning. She was happy about that, and I had her support, until 2 months before I left. My ex came to my house telling me that she did not love me anymore, and that she was leaving me because she basically didn't want to deal with long distance. Of course, she came back about 3 days later, crying into my arms asking me to take her back. I took her back. 2 months later, I was finally living at my parents' place. I had transferred through my work over to my new location. Things between me and my ex were getting hard with long distance. I had feelings of anxiety that she wasn't fully in it anymore, and I was right. I got a call from her again about 3 months after the last situation telling me that this was it, that we would not continue to be in a relationship together. We went at most 2 weeks with no contact until she messaged me again and tried her luck. I was alone. I felt lost without her. I took her back. Come 2021, we spent the first 5 months working on repairing what we had lost. I was so busy with starting school that I didn't even see her for 5 months after we got back together. When we did get together, again, it was magic. It always was. I felt like what we had was blooming again. I actually got her interested in some of the things I like to do, and we bonded really well through that. We celebrated my birthday and went on a trip together, and it was all feeling really good. In October of 2021, when my ex was back in her city, she told me over the phone that she had caught feelings for someone else. It was her coworker, 37M, that she had been working with for 4 years. She said she wanted to break it off because she thought it was not fair to have feelings for someone else while she was with me. I agreed, but didn't want her to leave again. I couldn't believe how much older he was than her. I had the suspicion that she was not in love with me anymore, as she just stopped texting and became a terrible communicator. We broke it off, and what do you know? Yes, you know. She came back even faster than the other times. She told me she still loved me just as much as when I met her, and that it was the fact that I was not in the same place as she was. I took her back. A week went by and I got another call from her while I was at work. She told me that it's over. She told me that she had cheated on me with the guy for the last 2 months. It broke me into pieces. I was disgusted and possibly the most angry I've ever been in my life. She gave me about 3 days until she hit me up asking me to come back to her. At the time, all I wanted was to forget that she even cheated on me and just make things right with her. After all, I still really felt like I had met the girl of my dreams, even though there was an affair. After this point, we broke up and made up again until now. Yesterday, I went back to her city to see her. When I arrived, she had told me that her other dude had arrived at her house apologizing to her parents, but brought flowers, a cake, and a letter for her. I thought that was ducking weird. We got a hotel room and told each other how much we loved each other even after everything we've been through. The night was filled with Zex, Compliments on my body, how attractive I am, how good we look together, and how much better I am than him. There was an element of sadness because of her guilt, but she was buttering me up all night. We woke up the next morning, today, and she drove me to the ferry. She told me she was planning to come and see me in a couple days when she dropped me off. We made out, said our goodbyes, and she promised that she would come back out and she'd see me in 2 days. When I got back to my city, she was not answering me, and I knew what was about to happen. I got texts from her saying how she can't leave him, and how as long as he lives, she's going to love him. My heart fell deeper than ever when she texted me, "It's been going on for years." My ex has been with another man for over half the length of our 5-year relationship. She told me she hooked up with him for the first time in Christmas of 2017, about 3 years ago. Oh yeah, and that call I got? Yeah. I should have known that she was making up another bullcrap story. She was ducking him then. I know, I should have gone with my gut. If you're still reading this, I want you to know that I was madly in love with this person. We talked about our future together, kids, and marriage. I never thought she would do something like this to me, for real. I know I don't have any self-respect for myself taking her back. I'm not sure exactly how to move on from this. She was my first real love.